All right, listen up. If you clicked on this explainer hoping for another warm, fuzzy, feel-good pep talk to get you through your next study session, you are absolutely in the wrong place. I want you to drop the excuses right now. You have massive goals. You want success, you want respect, and you want to build a life where you call the shots, right? But let's look at the reality. Your alarm goes off, and what do? You hit snooze, you tell yourself, oh, I'll just start tomorrow. But we both know tomorrow never actually comes. You're relying on these fleeting, 10-minute motivation highs from YouTube or late-night doom scrolling, and the second that dopamine wears off, you're right back to doing nothing. Today, that stops. We are stripping away the fluff and replacing it with brutal, military-grade discipline.
Here is your mission briefing for today. We're going through 5 phases to take you from an average student to an elite performer. 1. The motivation trap. 2. Moods versus military discipline. 3. Sacrifice your digital comfort. 4. Automate your study systems. And 5. Embrace the pain.
Phase 1. The motivation trap. Let me be incredibly direct with you. Think about the average student for a second. They rely on these short little bursts of motivation, they snooze their alarms, and they complain endlessly about the syllabus. Now, contrast that with the elite mindset. An elite student acts completely regardless of their mood. They violently protect their sleep, and they execute their plan daily. No exceptions. So you need to pick a side right now. Are you going to stay average or step up to the elite? Because you absolutely cannot be both.
Look, average people are just slaves to their emotions. If they don't feel like studying, they don't do it. But legends are masters of their decisions. Discipline is simply a non-negotiable decision to execute a task regardless of your temporary feelings, your mood, or your motivation. Whether you're tired, bored, stressed out, the execution doesn't change one bit.
Phase 2. Moods versus military discipline.
3. That's exactly how many months David Goggins had to completely change his entire life. Before he was known as the toughest man alive, an elite Navy SEAL, and an ultra-marathon runner, he was nearly 300 pounds. He was depressed, spraying for cockroaches in a dead-end pest control job. He had this massive dream to become a SEAL, but he was incredibly overweight and facing a strict military deadline. 3 months, that is it.
The math of greatness is brutally simple. To meet his deadline, Goggins didn't sit around waiting to feel inspired. The daily requirement? Running 10 miles. Studying for the Navy SEAL exam? 4 hours. And excuses allowed? Absolutely 0. He had to drop the weight and pass the academic test at the exact same time. Think about that the next time you feel, too tired to open your textbook. If Goggins could run 10 miles and then sit down to study for 4 hours every single day while literally starving himself to make weight, you can absolutely sit down and study for your exams.
Goggins put it perfectly. He said, "I hate running, but I love the results." I want you to hammer this stoic truth into your brain right now. Passion is not required to do the work. You don't need to love studying calculus or biology or history. You only need the discipline to endure the work for the sake of the result.
Phase 3. Sacrifice your digital comfort.
I need you to answer this honestly. Seriously, do you want pizza or do you want greatness? You have got to confront the harsh reality that your temporary comforts are actively destroying your long-term legacy. When your friends are out partying or you're tempted to just order some junk food and binge a movie instead of reviewing your notes, you have to make a brutal choice.
Let's look at a prime example of this kind of sacrifice. Virat Kohli. Back before 2012, the guy was incredibly talented, sure, but his fitness was just average. He realized that to be the absolute best in the world, talent simply wasn't going to cut it. So in 2012, he made a hard pivot. He decided to quit the junk food. He quit the late-night parties. He completely sacrificed his old, comfortable self. And today, he's widely considered the fittest cricketer in the entire world. Greatness requires brutal sacrifice. Kohli had to kill his old habits to become a machine, and you have to do the exact same thing with yours.
All right, here is your distraction hit list. The things you need to kill today. Netflix binges, late-night doom scrolling on your phone, junk food that's just draining your physical energy, and the absolute worst offender, waiting for the quote-unquote right time to start. Spoiler alert, the stars are never going to perfectly align for your calculus homework. I am commanding you to eliminate these distractions immediately. Sacrifice isn't just some cute buzzword you throw in your social media bio. It is brutal, it is painful in the moment, and it is absolutely necessary. Cut them out.
Phase 4. Automate your study systems. Think about Cristiano Ronaldo. He is arguably the most disciplined athlete in human history. At 38 years old, an age where most pro players have been retired for years, he is still performing at the absolute top. Why? He said it himself. I don't depend on motivation. I depend on my routine. He doesn't wake up wondering if he feels like trending today. He relies on rigid, automated daily systems. He eats 6 specific meals a day, fixed gym sessions, fixed training drills, fixed sleep schedule. Everything is completely by design.
And you need to design your day the exact same way. The average student wakes up whenever they happen to open their eyes, studying with a buzzing phone right next to them and zero plan. It's complete chaos. To be elite, replace that chaos with cold, hard efficiency. Fixed wake and sleep times. Your phone is on airplane mode, period. And most importantly, you don't just study when you're motivated, you lock in 2 high-priority tasks every single day. You replace the chaos of decision fatigue with automated action.
So here is your action plan. I want you to implement this daily mental checkup starting tomorrow morning. Step 1, break your massive, intimidating academic goals down into 30-minute daily habits. Step 2, create triggers. For example, the second you finish breakfast, boom, your phone goes on airplane mode, no thinking required. Step 3, track your daily wins in a journal. Look, goals might get you hyped up, but systems are what actually get you to the finish line. Tracking these small, consistent wins compounds into massive long-term results.
Phase 5. Embrace the pain. Let's jump back to David Goggins for a second. Badwater 135. It is known as the world's toughest foot race, running 135 miles through Death Valley in the scorching heat. During his qualifying run, Goggins' legs were totally destroyed. We're talking massive blisters, fractured bones, shin splints, literally failing kidneys. The pain was completely unimaginable. But he finished. Why? Because he chose to control his pain. He deliberately rewired his brain to understand that suffering is just the cost of entry for growth.
Listen to me, the comfort zone will destroy you. It makes you weak. It literally kills your potential. Pain and discipline, on the other hand, that's just temporary suffering for lifetime growth. I am ordering you to intentionally seek out discomfort every single day. Adopt that stoic mindset. The obstacle is the way. Maybe it's pushing yourself to study for just an extra 10 minutes when you desperately want to quit. Maybe it's taking a freezing cold shower. Maybe it's doing extra reps in the gym. When you feel that mental resistance, you tell yourself, this is the moment I grow. Comfort will finish you, pain will build you.
So here we are at the end of this explainer, leaving you with one final, undeniable question staring you right in the face. Will you continue being a slave to your emotions, just waiting around for the right mood while your potential rots away? Or will you step up, do the brutal work, and become the master of your habits? The intel has been delivered. The path is laid out right in front of you. Your legacy is entirely in your hands. Dismissed? Go execute.